Ah, fuck it. Alright guys, welcome back. Here today we're going to talk about the Super Mystere B2, or as I like to call it, the Super Mistake. Another Gaijin mistake. Check this out guys, 3128 kilograms of thrust. Now I had to look this up because there's something wrong with this whole scenario. So I'm an American, I had to kind of convert it over to pound force for me, but did the conversion and it looks like we are just under 6,900 pounds of thrust. Alright, so we checked a couple websites. First one I looked at. Now, we're not looking at Wiki here. Granted, I probably could use it because it's the same numbers. Check this out, guys. 7,500 pounds of thrust without afterburner. 9,800 pounds of thrust with afterburner. So we checked another website just to verify. So we got 7,500 pounds of dry thrust and 9,900 pounds with the afterburner. The only difference I'm seeing here is one says it's a G2 engine and the other says it's the G3 engine. Either way, the numbers are way off, guys. We're missing approximately 2,000 pounds of thrust or 1,000 kilograms of thrust if you're running on those European units. So what does that translate to? That means that we don't have acceleration anymore. We could probably get to the top speed that we're advertised at, but things are just going to hurt. Really, the only thing I've found enjoyable about flying this aircraft right now is these Nord missiles. They're kind of an absolute meme. They're very easy to get kills with. We'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll go in a little deeper with them a little bit later. Let's go over the regular gameplay first, and I'll show you just why this plane, unfortunately, sucks. So this match started out pretty good. We've been able to maintain speed. You'll never see supersonic in this plane, at least not on the deck. It just can't do it. Up at altitude it can, but once we start seeing these top speeds, even with boosters, this thing compresses pretty hard. And at the same time, if you don't run boosters, it locks up unbelievably hard. You can't control it at high speeds anymore. So you have to run boosters. And so it's nice, but I'm running this constant fear that I'm going to rip. So I'm starting to get a little bit better at this plane. I know if I spend enough time in it, I can figure it out enough to not rip anymore. But look at what's happening here. I'm even in a slight dive right now. I'm getting kind of focused a little bit. I'm trying my hardest to keep my airspeed right now and not be a sitting duck for this guy. So I'm trying to defensive fly. This whole time's running through my head. It's like, am I gonna rip? Am I gonna rip? Am I gonna rip? Well, thankfully we don't. But look at how much speed I am bleeding so quick. Especially once you get down to 600. This thing's extremely maneuverable. But look at this. I'm down to 500. You would have thought I put out the air brake. You know, we talked about the same thing when I evaluated this plane during the dev server. Nothing has really changed. They didn't touch anything on this plane. I noticed it's maybe slightly more maneuverable at low speeds, but it's the same plane we saw in the dev server. So realistically speaking, this is about your average speed right here. You only see 1100 coming out of a dive. If you get a long time, you can get up to 1100 on the deck. It just takes absolutely forever. So you're not gonna be able to touch the supersonics. You can't keep up with them. You go vertical, and so I'm doing all this for the sake of this video. We're going vertical. We know that we're not going to be able to catch this guy, but I want to keep him in sight. I want to let him know that I'm still looking at him. So at this point, I drop back down in the clouds because I know I'm not going to catch him. Try and grab a little bit more speed. The acceleration's really not horrible in a dive as long as you don't touch the controls. The second you touch the controls, here it goes. We just bleed all this speed. Go ahead and do a slight dodge on him real quick. You know, if he kept turning with us, I could probably get him. But this guy's smart. He's not going to do that. And look at that. He's flying right away. I did one turn, I was down to 600 kilometers an hour. And I was in a slight dive. You know, in any other aircraft, you wouldn't have any problems maintaining the speed. If anything, you might lose maybe 50 kilometers an hour. So I'm not going to say that that alone is broken, because it's not. It's a very good turning aircraft. And for that, you will rip. But the problem is, the thrust that it's missing would make up for this absolute energy bleed, this hemorrhaging of speed that we were talking about. We talked about this back in the dev server. You know, we're going into this. I could be accelerating pretty well right now, but I have to make slight corrections to intercept this guy, and so every little correction I make is I'm going to bleed speed. But thankfully, the guns work. He's not feeling too well after that shot. But even with that crit, I'm still not going to catch him. So what do we do, guys? What do we do? The other thing I want to talk about is the absolute lack of durability that this aircraft has. Obviously, we're not talking about structural durability, because yes, it pulls hard, it's going to rip. It sucks. I would wish Gaijin would do a little bit to kind of dampen it down a little bit so that we can control it, because I think you still need playability in an aircraft. Historical accuracy is awesome, but here's the thing. So check this out, guys. I made a stupid mistake. I went vertical, and I've got an A5 coming at me. Here's the problem. He just shredded me with 150 cal. Well, okay, it's probably like 4 bullets at once, but absolutely shredded me in one shot. And that's not normal right now with 50 cals, because the damage models got buffed a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed, 50 cals don't do the same damage that they used to anymore. But against the Super Mystere, it doesn't matter if a rock hits you. Something's going to fall off and you're going to be dead. So it needs a little bit of a durability buff. Yeah, okay. But the bigger thing, we still need to fix the thrust, guys. I thoroughly believe that if you give this aircraft the 9,900 pounds of thrust that it deserves, that it could actually probably sit right at about 9.3. Because as it is right now, if you're really passive and you fly it, say like a hunter flight style, you know, everybody just goes straight, don't turn, you can compete against 9.0s. But when the supersonics get involved, there's nothing you can do. And the ending of this match right here, I put this clip in because this is generally what happens to me. And I like to be able to take a few enemies on at once, because, you know, it gets the blood pressure rise and it makes the game enjoyable. But I'm at 900 kilometers an hour right now. I've got a missile on me. I can't see it, so I'm kind of trying to predict where it would be and trying to dodge a little bit. So I can handle the one supersonic. He's going to go behind me. And then I realize I got all these guys coming in front of me, so I got to do some quick dodges, quick dodges, quick dodges. Look at this. I'm already down sub 700. Oh, now I'm at 700 again, but I got to make another turn because these guys are pulling right behind me. Oh, now we're down to 600. Oh, now we're down to 500. And now we're pretty much a sitting duck. Nothing that you can do in this scenario whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. And because I'm so slow, I'm a sitting duck. There goes my tail. And we're done. I don't know anymore. But if you manage to keep your speed, which if you're very, very passive, you can, as long as you don't climb. It's not a good climbing aircraft. But if you get your speed up, and say you're doing 1100, that'll keep you safe from the 9.0s, because the 9.0s are going to have a hard time doing 1100 without a long run at it. This is what happens. So we're going to start going into this. We're going to start getting the vapor cloud, whatever you want to call it. And what happens to this plane is, around 1100, the rudder starts compressing. And it's actually really hard to aim. So you can see right now how the bore sight indicator is kind of a little all over the place because the rudder's compressing. And so the best speed to be at if you actually want to fight somebody in this aircraft is probably around 900 to 1,000 kilometers an hour. It's still actually a very good turning aircraft, around 600 to 700, maybe 800 kilometers an hour. You can still defend yourself pretty well. But you're going to lose all that speed. The second you get below 1050 kilometers an hour, the first turn, you're going to lose all your speed. You cannot maintain the speed no matter what you do. And so, for all these reasons that I've described, this aircraft, it's not fun to fly. You know, you put yourself in a one-on-one situation, a competent pilot, he's probably going to do pretty good with it, you know, because it bleeds so much speed, and you can maneuver pretty well at those speeds. But when you got multiple enemies, that's a death sentence. There's nothing you can do when you have 2 people on your butt and you're only doing 600 kilometers an hour. You're gonna die. So the only way I've found to enjoy this aircraft is by using the Nord missiles. And the Nords are great. They're not radar guided, they're not IR guided. They are guided by you. And along with that, they have a proximity fuse. Anything within 50 feet detonates the missile, and it will pretty much destroy anything in that radius. So they're very effective. And a head-on, I'd love to pop them off. That's how we started out this video. That's the only way I've come to enjoy this aircraft is you can pop those off in a head-on. I've got one of my viewers sent me a video here a while back. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description. He went ahead and popped a missile off at like 8 kilometers in a head-on, and he guided it all the way in, and he killed them around 4 kilometers. I guarantee that person had absolutely no idea what the hell hit him. And for that, they're kind of cool. They're fun. I'm not going to spend a lot of time guiding them. I'd rather fly than get sidetracked and while I'm guiding a missile, all of a sudden somebody comes in from the side. So me, I'm not going to guide them, but they're fun. You can. Either way, the plane's just really not that enjoyable to fly. Like I say, I'm not going to do a tutorial on it. I'm not going to give you too much. I'm just telling you what's wrong with the plane right now. You're going to be able to get a couple kills here and there. You're not going to carry a match in it. You're going to have a hell of a time. The second you lose your speed, you're done. It performs a little bit better at altitude, and at the same time, if you lose your speed at altitude, you can always convert that altitude back into airspeed. That's flying 101. But I keep hearing rumors that they might actually, give this aircraft a buff. But those are just rumors, guys. We don't know. We don't know. So I'm crossing my fingers that they do, because honestly, if you give it the buff and the power at minimum, even if they don't increase the durability, it's going to increase the survivability probably tenfold in this aircraft. And from what I understand is this aircraft was actually pretty competitive at the time. And I really want to see it. I really want to see this aircraft be competitive, because I think it could be a lot of fun, especially the way it turns. But until then, I believe that Gaijin doesn't have any clue what they're doing when it comes to aircraft right now. They honestly need to hire somebody that either can play this game at this battle rank, or somebody that actually knows their way around aviation, because I don't feel like they do. You go and you play with the devs and all that shit, and all they ever do is tank. All they ever do is mess around with tanks, and unfortunately, that doesn't help us, guys. So we'll see what happens. Until then, I'm just going to keep flying the Val Tour. That plane's so much fun for me right now. Thanks for watching. Leave me a sub if you haven't already. Leave me a like. Please, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you.